Republicans take back the White House, and we will be back in there in 18 months or less. You know what's going to happen? The Department of Justice, the prosecutors will be prosecuted, the bad ones. The investigators will be investigated, because the deep state, last term for President Trump, they were hiding in the shadows. But now they have a spotlight on them, and they can all be investigated, and the House needs to be cleaned out.
What's up, everybody? Welcome back to Opinions Vary. It's Opinions with an A. Please like, share, and subscribe. And 4D Chess wins again. I said it in my last couple of videos. I said I think Trump has something in mind. He has something up his sleeve with this AG pick with Matt Gaetz. Now that I think about it, I said it, I alluded to this a little bit in my last video. I think he was doing it to see what exactly he's dealing with in the Senate and who his biggest obstructionists are going to be on the Republican side. And I think that was revealed yesterday. And now, 6 hours after Matt Gaetz drops out, he hits them with Pam Bondi. And Pam Bondi is no joke. Pam Bondi is going to, as you just saw in that clip, is going to do exactly the same job that Matt Gaetz was going to do, but they can't say Pam Bondi's not qualified. She's more than qualified. She was the Florida Attorney General for years. She's got years of experience as a prosecutor. And now Trump has his hammer in there that now they cannot say no to. Nobody. Not Susan Collins, not Lisa Murkowski, not Mike Rounds, not this Curtis from Utah, not Mitch McConnell. She will pass unanimously. And that'll be it. She's in. And now Trump has who he wants in that position. By the way, another strong, smart woman, Mark Cuban. Anyway, let's get into these videos from MSNBC and CNN. And MSNBC, you could tell they're scared. CNN seems to be a little bit more intelligent, realizing this was probably the game plan all along. Let's go.
There is a distinction that everyone should understand about this Attorney General nominee versus Matt Gaetz. Many people, experts, nonpartisan officials, as well as Republicans, noted that Gaetz had essentially no experience as a prosecutor or in the kind of legal managerial work that anyone would do at any leadership level at DOJ, let alone the top post of Attorney General of the United States. The contrast to Ms. Bondi is she does have that kind of experience, much more traditional than what you would see in a top DOJ post, because she was the top law enforcement official in the state of Florida, and she has over 15 years experience in that role and other roles as a prosecutor. If you remember Kamala Harris running for president and talking about being a prosecutor at the state level, this is that kind of job. And so in that experience, it is much more of a traditional role, something that the Senate Judiciary Committee and others who vet these kind of nominees would see as a positive, as experience. The flip side, which our guest Juanita just mentioned, is unlike traditional attorneys general, this is an individual who's very tied politically to Donald Trump, the loyalty that he has talked about. And while there is nothing disqualifying about working on an impeachment defense, it positions her not as someone who is a nonpartisan state-level prosecutor ready to rise up to the DOJ, but someone who's already been in those really searing partisan battles over Donald Trump's conduct.
Merrick Garland was chosen by Barack Obama to be a Supreme Court justice. The Republicans, and one of the only good things Mitch McConnell's ever done, blocked him when they had control of the Senate at the end of Obama's second term. Blocked him until the point where Obama ran out of road. He's now the Attorney General for Joe Biden. If memory serves me correct, Joe Biden was the vice president when that happened, when Merrick Garland got blocked. Merrick Garland's not partisan? Merrick Garland has been the most partisan, iron-fisted, tyrannical Attorney General in the history of this country. So save me. Save me the nonsense with the loyalist stuff, and she's going to do the bidding, because you're going to start to hear a lot of it.
History. And you want generally an Attorney General who is not overly tied to past partisan positions, even when they intersect, for example, with politics and law in Washington. So that's one update I wanted to give and bring you back.
Merrick Garland has been on a revenge tour since the day he was confirmed by the Senate to be Attorney General.
And Jason, I say that with all accuracy and fairness. On paper, her state-level experience is much closer to what presidents in both parties have sought at the DOJ. That's a huge difference with Matt Gaetz. The political part, though, is different. Right. And then what I bring to you is, and Juanita mentioned it, you have that political history, and you have a proposed number two, a deputy attorney general who recently handled Donald Trump's criminal defense. So if this were the team, and they have to go through vetting and confirmation, but if this were the team, this would be two of the most politically defensive lawyers of the personal capacity of an incoming president we've ever seen running DOJ at the same time.
Oh, well, be careful what you wish for.
All right, I completely agree. And quite frankly, my thought is that after Gaetz dropped out, it would be essentially somebody from Trump's legal team. It would be like a Jay Sekulow or somebody like that. I assume that's where he would get these people from. Unlike William Barr, even going back to when we were all kids and like Janet Reno, right? Occasionally attorney generals try to behave like they are not the personal lawyer of the president of the United States. That is completely out the window. Pam Bondi is exactly what I was saying in the last segment that we should all fear because she's competent. We may not agree with her ideologically, but she actually knows how to do this job. So if anyone on the Democratic side or anyone who cared about liberty or justice was thinking, well, maybe Matt Gaetz will screw this up and that'll give us some time. No, Pam Bondi knows what she's doing. She knows what she's doing about immigration. Remember, Florida is one of those states that's been very aggressive about migrants and deportation and moving people to different states and everything else like that. Florida has enacted all sorts of rules and laws to curtail students and what they can do on campuses and finding legal justifications for manipulating education money.
Yeah, wait, you mean they're not allowed to break the law on campus? Wow, what a novel theory.
She is a dangerous and effective pick, and that's frankly worse than what we would have got with Matt Gaetz, even with the deplorable moral background that he has.
Good evening, I'm Erin Burnett, out front tonight.
So you can see that guy in MSNBC, he knows she's going to sail through. She will be the next attorney general, and she's going to be more effective than Gaetz ever could have dreamed of being because, as he said, she does know a way around the justice system.
The breaking news, Trump has a new pick for attorney general tonight, 6 hours after Matt Gaetz suddenly withdrew his nomination.
Hey, Erin Burnett, can you one time call him President-elect Trump or former President Trump and stop calling him by his last name like he's, somebody on your, some kid on your son's hockey team? Could you knock it off? Show a little respect. You never did from day one.
Trump has a new choice. That is the former Florida Attorney General and longtime ally Pam Bondi. Certainly raises the question of whether maybe this was the plan all the way along. Maybe this was just to get Matt Gaetz out of Congress without an ethics report coming out. We'll see. But meanwhile, only 6 hours did it take for Trump to write online just moments ago, quote, Pam will refocus the DOJ to its intended purpose of fighting crime and making America safe again. I have known Pam for many years. She is smart and tough and is an America First fighter who will do a terrific job as Attorney General. Now, of course, Bondi has been a very successful fighter for Trump. In the 2020 election, she was on the front lines pushing Trump's election lies. She said, quote, we've won Pennsylvania and we want every vote to be counted in a fair way.
His election lie? Oh, you mean like Bob Casey was just doing for the past 3 weeks almost? 2.5 weeks, whatever, since the election? I don't know. Time goes fast. I don't even know what day it is, guys. But like that, Erin Burnett? Or is that okay because he's a Democrat? And is it okay that the judges the commissioners in Bucks County were counting votes that were illegal, even though the court told them not to? Is that the kind of lie you're talking about, Erin Burnett?
Of course, he did not win Pennsylvania. During Trump's criminal trial in New York, she was one of his top defenders.
This is just one big press conference trying to smear Donald Trump, trying to hurt Donald Trump. The gag order is completely illegal.
Bondi also making it clear she is on the exact same page as Trump when it comes to his claim that the Justice Department has been politicized.
When Republicans take back the White House, and we will be back in there in 18 months or less, you know what's going to happen? The Department of Justice, the prosecutors will be prosecuted, the bad ones. The investigators will be investigated because the deep state, last term for President Trump, they were hiding in the shadows. But now they have a spotlight on them, and they can all be investigated, and the House needs to be cleaned out.
I mean, that is as clear as it gets. That is where she stands. That is what Trump wants. She was also, though, very present on the campaign trail this year. She was a staple, joining Trump at campaign rallies across the country. And as I mentioned, her nomination came in just 6 hours after Gaetz dropped out. Meantime, just a few moments ago, Gaetz posted, I look forward to continuing to fight to save our country, just maybe from a different post.
Oh, I love it. I love it. I love it. Watch it maybe from Senator, Florida. I'm thinking Trump's going to appoint him to something in the White House that he doesn't have to go through any vetting or Senate confirmation. And it's going to be something that it's going to be pretty influential, as influential as you can get without having to go through that process. And heads are just going to explode. The meltdowns are going to be epic.
Different post. Important word. Sources telling CNN that Trump himself is the one who called Gaetz this morning to let him know he didn't have the votes to be confirmed. Now, we understand that Trump did not ask Gaetz to drop out, despite the serious allegations involving statutory rape and sexual misconduct.
Allegations, never proven.
In a shocking turn of events, though, I mean, just 24 hours ago, Gaetz showed no signs he was stepping down.
Moving on great. Folks have been very supportive. They've been saying we're going to get a fair process. So it's a great day of momentum for the Trump-Vance administration.
We were told Trump was standing by his staunch ally, full stop. And the sources close to the president-elect were optimistic, but then reality struck. Around 11:30 this morning, our Paula Reed reached out to Matt Gaetz' team. She had new reporting that there was a second alleged sexual encounter between the Republican and a 17-year-old. So his team asked for an hour to respond to Paula's reporting. They never did respond. Minutes before she was about to go on CNN to break her news, Gaetz issued this statement, quote, "There is no time to waste on a needless..."
Yeah, I wonder where this allegation came from. How old is this one? These people are unbelievable. But you know what? You're the ones that got played here. You're the ones that got played. Your heads were exploding. You were melting down. You were hyperventilating over Gaetz, and now it looks like the whole time you were being played. And I think I love it. I love it. I can't get enough of it. I want more.
Washington scuffle. Thus, I'll be withdrawing my name from consideration to serve as Attorney General. Now, this was a major setback for Trump. I mean, even if he had thought this wasn't going to go through and it was helping Gaetz and getting that ethics committee report to not come out and he had a backup plan of possible Pam Bondi, even if all that is true, he did back him. He did say he wasn't going to step down. And he said he was doing very well, but at the same time did not want to be a distraction for the administration, for which he has much respect. Those are the final words from Gaetz. Sources telling CNN that the president-elect was all in on Gaetz. They had told us that he didn't have someone waiting in the wings.
Well, obviously you got played.
Well, that's a big question, right? So either he was ready on Pam Bondi, ready to go, or he made that decision as quickly as he had made the Gaetz decision. We don't yet know. But we do know that many of Trump's biggest supporters in Congress, like Josh Hawley, were happy Gaetz is out.
My plan is to support all of them. I think they've got momentum. I thought the meeting today with Gaetz went great, and it's full steam ahead.
That was just yesterday, I mean, barely over 24 hours ago. Today, here's Hawley.
Well, I'm sure it's the right decision. He feels like it is, and the president feels like it is.
What's wrong with that statement, Aaron Burnett? What's wrong with that statement? If a Democrat was saying that, he'd be the second coming to you of Winston Churchill or somebody. These people are so full of crap, so full of crap. This isn't a setback for Trump. This is perfect.
Let's go to Manu Raju on Capitol Hill. Manu, again, it's been just about a half an hour since we found this out. What's the response so far to the Pam Bondi choice?
Well, silence right now, Aaron. One part because the Senate is now, they have left town for the weekend. So senators will have the weekend to digest this news. And this will become...
Wait, isn't tomorrow Friday? It's Thursday. What are they gone for the weekend for? Anybody ask that question? Why are they gone for the weekend? Weekend isn't here yet. Weekend starts on Saturday. Get to work.
Senators will look at this nomination more favorably, undoubtedly, than the Matt Gaetz nomination. Gaetz came in with heavy baggage. A lot of senators knew Matt Gaetz for the way that he conducted himself on the House side for many years, the way he battled with his colleagues. Of course, those ethics allegations, those investigation that was going on about sexual misconduct and the like, and they wanted nothing to do with Matt Gaetz. They'll look at Pam Bondi much differently with a fresh set of eyes, someone that they will have to assess. Now, that doesn't mean that she definitely will be confirmed, even though her chances are much higher than Matt Gaetz is right off the bat, because senators simply don't know her. They'll have to vet her. They'll have to question her. There will be an exhaustive background check. There will be those hearings that, of course, will be all important early next year. And how does she do in all of that? And will any red flags come up during their vetting process? Those are all will be the big questions. So senators may, while the Trump team believes that she is much more confirmable and she could certainly get the post, that process still needs to take place in the United States Senate because she's not very well known to these members. And
she's been the Attorney General of Florida for years. She was from up to 2019. She's been in the spotlight for a long time. Cut the crap. You know you guys are going to try to dig something up, even if it's out of thin air and it's not even true. So why don't we just cut to the chase and just say that on TV? I'll have more respect for you.
Perhaps you'll sail right through, but we'll see. These processes are complicated, and sometimes they can trip people up.
Absolutely. All right, Manu, thank you very much. And everyone's here with me. So, Lulu, 8 years as Attorney General for Florida.
8 years. Well, she's not well known. The Attorney General of Florida. She's well known. They know who she is. And like you said, she's good on TV. She's been on TV. I knew who she was before this. Everybody knows who she is. Stop the nonsense.
Outspoken Trump supporter. Trump and his foundation had put a lot of money into her election campaigns. I know our Drew Griffin back in the time had done a lot of reporting on that and whether that was in any way linked to decisions she then subsequently made as Attorney General. The big question, though, is Lulu, does this, 6 hours, do you think this was basically, in a sense, a backup plan all the way along?
I mean, I don't know if that if it was a backup plan. But Pam Bondi is a pretty obvious choice for him. She's telegenic. She defends him. She worked on his impeachment trial. She was then at America First Policy Institute overseeing their legal operation there, something that's very allied to Trump. I mean, she's had a very long relationship with him. You just mentioned, I'm a Floridian, and you mentioned that relationship with Donald Trump. I mean, it was back, I think, in 2013 that he gave money to her campaign, and then apparently there was some questions around actions that she took around Trump University. And so, there's a long history there between the two of them.
So you have it right there. I think Trump played them. And he played all of us a little bit, but he played this on the media. Because people like me, you guys that watch this, we kind of had a feeling that we know Trump. We think like him. We're not deranged. So we actually kind of, when he does something, we go, what does he have in mind after this? He's always 2, 3, 4, 5 steps ahead. So in my other videos, like I said, he's got to have something else up his sleeve, because Gaetz has got a tough road ahead to get through. Tough road. And as I said, as much as I would have loved to have seen it, it wasn't going to happen. So he played them. He had them going crazy. He had everybody taking their eye off the ball. And while that was going on, as I said, I think he had Gaetz talking to these senators with J.D. Vance, trying to figure out who still is going to be the biggest problem for him. Now he knows. Now he knows. It's all out in the open. And those people will have to be dealt with somehow. So with whatever political capital or whatever else needs to be done to make them fall in line within legality, obviously. So that's what I think happened here. And I don't think she's going to have an issue. They're going to try to come up with some nonsense on her. We know that already, too. We know that something's going to come out that, she didn't return a library book in 2013 or 2015, or maybe back in the late 90s, she still has a Blockbuster video that she never returned, something along those lines. So, but I think it's going to be a good choice. She's, she sounds great. On paper, she's great. She's been solid in the public eye. So I'm happy about it. So tell me what you guys think in the comments. Continue to follow me at Opinions Vary.